How do you turn your low-paying job into a high-paying career? Well, the first step is to realize that there's a big difference between having a job in general and building a career. You see, 98% of people, they don't have a career, they just have a job, whereas only 2% of the population actually has a career. So what's the difference between the two? Well, the first difference is that people in a job, they often think short term. They're just in it to pay the bills, to get that paycheck, and they don't think about like what was their previous job or what's their next job. They think short term. I want you to look at your life and think like, am I thinking short term? Or how can I think longer term? Because people with a career, they think longer term. And the advantage of that is that you build on top of each job that you had. You see, if you are in a job, you just live paycheck to paycheck and there's no progression. You may hop to different jobs, but often they don't really matter because your salary is the same. But people who have a career, they build on top of their previous jobs and their education as well. So it's much more longer term. And as a result, you can really start to step up rather than in a job just hopping without major improvement. Now, also a job is something that's like, it's a form of regular employment, whereas a career is actually a profession. A career really requires specialized skills. Like, for example, I'm an accountant and it requires specialized accounting knowledge and accounting skills, whereas something in the job, it's often not really specialized. Now, the more specialized your job is, the higher you get paid. Like, look at a doctor versus a brain surgeon. Who do you think gets paid more? Obviously, it's the brain surgeon because much more specialized skills are required for that, whereas a doctor is more general, although they still get paid quite well, I believe. Now, people in a job, they often don't think too much like, hey, where do I want to go? Where do I see myself in a couple of years' time? They just want to earn money and to make a living. Whereas people in a career, they really do something that they're passionate about and they want to have a sense of fulfillment as well. And the funny thing is, the more you focus on doing something that you love to do, that you're passionate about, the more money you will make as well as a result. People in a job, they also have different perks than people in a career. People in a job often only get that paycheck. That's the only thing they get. And maybe a public holiday if you live in a country that supports paid public holidays. But even in those cases, often they don't even get paid on holidays. Now, people in a career, they get sick leave, annual leave, they get bonuses, they have like laptops and mobiles that they can use to work from home, plus the career satisfaction. So it's not just they get paid more, but they get all of these additional perks as well. Now, we touched base on this briefly before, but a job is like a single job of employment, whereas a career spans multiple jobs and multiple fields. Here's the thing too, we live in a globalized world and competition is ever increasing. And there's so many changes going on in the accounting sector and the professional industry. Like technology and other things are really trying to get things done more efficiently and effectively. The people that suffer from that technology the most are actually people in a job. Like, for example, when I graduated, I was working as a bookkeeper. But today we don't really need bookkeepers anymore that enter invoices and type them in. The company that I work for, now all invoices are scanned automatically. So it's like people in a job are the most susceptible to changes in technology and in the world. Whereas people who have a career, they can actually use those changes to their advantage. Like if you're higher up the ladder, that level of knowledge is still required to review and to see like, is the technology working? Is it to our advantage? And here's the last thing, a job is something fixed and it cannot really change. And as a result, it can become obsolete, right? Whereas a career, it's adaptable. You can adapt it to changes in legislation, in globalization, in technology, in social cultural aspects. It's adaptable, it's flexible. So I hope you really have an understanding now, like what are the differences between a job and a career? And how can you move your job into a career so you can get paid more, you can get multiple pay rises, and you also feel more fulfilled. Because that's the thing, like I see so many people, they're so unfulfilled in their job, they hate what they do. They really don't want to wake up on Monday and go to work. They drink and party their weekends away. They use drugs and alcohol and other types of instant gratification. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have a fulfilling and enjoyable career. Because that's really the key to life, to have that sense of achievement, the pay rises, but also the sense of fulfillment that you love what you do and you can see your progress, which in my opinion is the most rewarding. Now, let's turn this into practice into your life, and I want you to answer these questions, and these are in your workbook as well. Question number one, do you have a job or a career, and why? Question number two, what are some of your career goals that you want to achieve? And you can think of several aspects like your salary, what kinds of perks do you want, where do you see yourself ultimately, like what kind of industry or the same industry. And then the third question is, what skills or resources do you need to actually achieve that? And really think back to that specialized knowledge, like what is that specialized knowledge, those skills that can help you to get there. I hope that you enjoyed this lesson, and I'll see you in the next one.